So Georgia had 15 players taken in this year's NFL draft, an all-time record. It further validates the championship-winning Bulldogs as one of the most talented teams in recent memory. But all those selections in this year's draft tells us a little bit about what Georgia will bring back next season. So that brings up a question. How good would Georgia actually be next year? We know they have the crown right now. They won a championship. They had 15 guys taken in the NFL draft. But are they going to be good next year? Are they capable of repeating as national champions? Stay tuned to find out, because in this video, I'm going to go through each position group from offense all the way to defense and see what's the weakest link, what's their strengths. Are they actually going to be good? But before I get into the video, if you love college football, whether it's college football recruiting or just college football news, go and subscribe to the channel right now because it's free. So subscribe, leave a like, and comment below who is your favorite college football team. But stay tuned.
Whose world is this? The world is yours. The world is yours. It's mine. Whose world?
So like I said, we're going to go through each position group for the Georgia Bulldogs for this upcoming season to see how good they truly are. First, let's start off with the offense and the quarterbacks. So for the quarterbacks, Kirby Smart has been focused over the years, making sure they have multiple quarterbacks that they feel can win games for them. And if you watch Georgia's spring game, particularly in Stetson Benson and Carson Beck, you can see he has exactly what he wanted. As we know, as of today, Stetson Bennett is the starting quarterback. He led him to the national championship last year. He came back. But backup quarterback Carson Beck had another strong offseason where he left spring ball as the number 2 guy. Last year, he was behind JT Daniels. This season, he appears to be behind Bennett at the number 2 spot, pushing Bennett for that starting job. Confidence in the running back room should be high, but there's no sure thing. This upcoming season, it is clear that there will be no drop-off. That's even after seeing both Zamir White and James Cook get drafted. The Georgia Bulldogs running back room should be in good hands with Kenny McIntosh, Kendall Milton, and Dejon Edwards. Both McIntosh and Milton have gotten important game reps before, but neither has gotten the workload that both White or Cook had last season. It is also important to note that both McIntosh and Milton has had a number of injuries during their career. And White and Cook both played in all 15 games last season. So availability will be just as crucial to their success as their breakaway speed or pass catching ability. Moving on to the tight end room. Now, Georgia's football tight end room is really good. As it stands right now, John Fitzpatrick, who was a 213th pick in this year's NFL draft, he's the only player departing from Georgia's tight end room. But even with that being said, Georgia is bringing back All-American Brock Bowers. Darnell Washington will play a key role for Georgia once again, as he is now clearly Georgia's best blocking tight end. You can also add in what Eric Gilbert can bring to the table, and the Bulldogs has one of the best position groups in all of America. Which leads me to the wide receiver room. Now, Georgia lost both George Pickens to the NFL draft and Jermaine Burton to Alabama. Now, those losses do sting because both were highly talented. But Georgia fans should remember it will not be that detrimental to the team. Georgia's young guys are a year wiser. And the Dogs just signed a talented bunch of new signees. Leading off with 4-star Chandler Smith, who is 6'1" and 180 pounds and is a speed demon. According to 24/7 Sports, Smith has broken 10-3 over the 100 in track and 21 over the 200 meter, which sets him as one of the fastest in the 2022 class. Along with Smith, we have Morissette, who is also a 4-star and sets himself apart from the rest of the 2022 class with his size, as he is 6'1", 200 pounds already. So if everyone can stay healthy for the Georgia Bulldogs in the wide receiver room, they're looking pretty good. And finally, moving on to the offensive line. Now, Georgia's football offensive line has a high ceiling. Unlike 2020 and 2021, there's both experience and potential throughout the line. Broderick Jones will be in his first full season as a starting left tackle, while Warren McClendon returns at right tackle and Cedric Van Pran at center. Georgia also has enough options at the guard position that at least 2 players, if not more, are capable of being reliable. Now, during the spring ball scrimmages, the quarterbacks weren't necessarily live, but the offensive line held up surprisingly well. Now for the defense. As we all know, Georgia is losing a lot of defensive pieces from last year's team, especially on the defensive line. Former Bulldogs Trayvon Walker, Devontae Wyatt, and All-American Jordan Davis were critical leaders for the 2021 National Championship team. Now, in my opinion, junior Jalen Carter is likely to headline this year's D-line and is primed for a breakout season. He has received high praise from all of his teammates and coaches thus far, and everyone hopes that he can play up to those expectations. One of the hottest names of spring ball has been junior Zion Log. It's possible that he can take the role that Wyatt played last year. Rounding out the final positions on the defensive line will be between a bunch of newcomers and veterans. Now, let's move on to the linebackers. Georgia will have a tough time replacing their top 3 linebackers, who all just got drafted. I mean, Georgia linebacking core loses Naquan Dean's leadership, Quay Walker's size, and the speed of Channing Tindall. With all that being said, the thing that would be most difficult for Georgia to replace is the experience of all 3 linebackers, who all rarely came off the field last season. There's reason for hope with encouraging spring ball performances of multiple young guys, but it still would take a few games for those guys to catch up to speed and play like Georgia's defense usually plays. And lastly, we have the secondary. Between Lewis Line getting drafted in this year's NFL draft and what we saw from the safeties on their spring game day, this position has become a worry for the Bulldogs. Given how strong the front 7 was last year for Georgia, its secondary rarely got tested. And when it was, things did not go as well as they would have hoped. Now, with sign-off to the Minnesota Vikings, Georgia will be looking for answers in the secondary. William Poole was playing cornerback in the spring game. The question is, does he move to the star position once Kamari Lassiter is healthy, or do either Nylon Green or Dalen Everett emerge there? The Bulldogs also bring back Chris Smith at one safety position, but he is not the athlete that Sign was. Now, walk-on Dan Jackson started opposite Smith in the spring game. Georgia has younger options as well. One to look out for is 5-star recruit Malachi Starks. Safety might be Georgia's biggest weakness this coming fall. I mean, Sign covered up a lot of those concerns in his time with the Bulldogs. And for the cornerback position, they'll have All-American Keely Ringo. On the other side of that field though, they got to figure that out as well. And there you have it, the UGA Bulldogs for this upcoming season. How good would they be? I think they'll be pretty good, but not as good as last year. I personally don't think they will repeat, but hey, that's why we play the game. We'll have to wait and find out. But comment below your thoughts on this year's team, and also comment below what team you'd like me to go over next. And while you're at it, go ahead and leave a like. And like I always say, if you love college football or college football recruiting, go ahead and subscribe to the channel right now because it's free. But until next time,